It's now time to look into our discussion for the day, which is on e-commerce and the emergence of e-commerce as Nigeria's economic growth driver. And I've been joined in the studio by Nicholas Martin. He's the CEO at Jumia, for those of you who know Jumia.com, and also Tobenna Okoli, CEO of Solomon Hunt Limited. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming on the program.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much. I'm going to start with Nicholas. Nicholas, you've been in the country for a while.
Yeah.
And you are in the e-commerce business.
Very true, yes. Jumia has launched its operation in June 2012, so we are a bit more than 2 years old.
Okay. What's your view on the e-commerce business in Nigeria?
I think, to be honest, there is no country in the world with the size of Nigeria and the potential of Nigeria where e-commerce is more relevant than here. And for a very simple reason. People shop online for price and convenience. And should it be on those two aspects? The price information in Nigeria is very fragmented. There is no big retail player that can level the playing field. And so e-commerce is providing that. And now we see that every brick and mortar, every shop in the street is actually looking at Jumia or looking at e-commerce players to know what the price of the market, what is the price of product, how the prices are moving. And we are actually now becoming price setter. But also on the convenience side, you live in Lagos, but your viewers are living everywhere in Nigeria. You don't want to spend your Saturday going 6 hours to go on VI and to go into the 1 or 2 malls that exist in Lagos. Don't find the product you want, not at the price you want, not for the color you want. You want to enjoy and benefit and the convenience of shopping from your couch, from your home, from your office, and at the click of a button, get whatever you want to have.
Tobenna, what's your view about e-commerce in Nigeria? I know that Nicholas has tried to set the ball rolling in terms of the fact that the benefits are enormous. What's your own view on that?
Well, Nicholas has said it. You can't run away from 170 million people. You can't run away from Africa's largest economy. The Minister of Communications and Technology has already said that e-commerce market in Nigeria, as we speak, is about $550 million. So that's by itself, those are statistics that are very compelling, and you can't run away from that. E-commerce has, at this stage, is still quite, as much as companies have achieved, like Nicholas' company and other companies, they've just managed to dent the surface. There's still so much to be done. There's still so much to be achieved.
So, but the level of growth, if you want to assess it, Nicholas, let me come to you. How would you assess the growth? Since 2012, you've been in the country, and now about 2 years. So how would you assess the growth pattern for 2 years?
Honestly, it's tremendous. And there is two ways to look at it again. I think there is a way at our level, because the market is not very much documented yet for e-commerce. It's a very nascent economy. But Jumia is growing and is multiplying its size by 5 or 10 every year on a yearly basis. So the growth rate for us and for as a leader of this market is definitely enormous. The other thing that you could look at is that if you look at comparable countries in the world that have shaped an e-commerce industry a bit earlier maybe than Nigeria, I think about India, I think about China. Now e-commerce industry represents between 5 and 10% of the GDP. In countries where actually the brick and mortar of retail competition was way stronger. It wouldn't be surprising to me that in Nigeria at some point e-commerce reaches up to 20 to 30% of the GDP.
Tobenna, I just want to touch on the issue of infrastructure, which I know Nicholas will also talk about. Now, we've seen internet access on the increase in the country to some extent. Okay. But how has that really helped the growth of e-commerce in the country as well?
Yes, definitely. The E in e-commerce is electronic, and that rides on the internet. Internet access has skyrocketed because you now have access to internet on mobile phones. However, we can bring those prices down, and we can bring the quality of internet service up. We also look at infrastructure from the area of road infrastructure, power, supply chain, the entire supply chain infrastructure. If that can also improve, that would also help e-commerce.
Now, Nicholas, how has that impacted on your business? Because I know that infrastructure is key, whether it's internet, whether it's road, because even if people want to buy online and don't want to go out, for you, there's in the business, you still need to use the infrastructures like supplying them, using the roads, and we don't have much of rail network right now. But What's the level of development in terms of infrastructure to aid in e-commerce business in Nigeria?
I guess we are like every other business that is tied to logistics. We take all the help we can get, but we're also living with the condition, and everybody is facing the same condition when it comes to infrastructure. So for us, it's not that much of a handicap. And as I mentioned earlier, it might be also sometimes a bit of an enabler, because individuals are actually usually our customer facing a worst experience when it comes to roads and traffic that we can. I move my trucks around and at night at 3 a.m. When there is no traffic, and so I can beat the traffic that way.
But you still meet the trailers on the way.
Yeah, no, we find ways
the
to
heavy
manage
trucks,
it.
who are usually told to travel at night as well. So you have to combat with so many things.
We find ways to get around it, and I guess by being a logistic company, we find more ways to escape traffic and escape bad logistics and bad infrastructure condition than the regular consumer. That's our business. That's what we do. So this is where we are optimized. But yes, we could take all the help.
Okay.
We welcome all the help we can take.
I know that our viewers would like to ask questions to either Tobenna or ask questions from Nicolas. You can also tweet and send us your comments or questions as we go on the program. I'd like us to look at the issue of payment system, the payment system, because we've seen the CBN cashless policy, which I think is one of the ways to reduce the use of fiscal cash in the economy. To what extent has that impacted on the e-commerce business?
Well, we could look at payments from two perspectives. The payments from the CBN and the banks, and payments from the ingenuity of the e-commerce practitioners. So from the CBN and the banks, we have payment like NIBs and NIP, where you can transfer. For NIP, you can actually do transfer that will hit the recipient's account instantly. You can also use your cards to do online transactions, and that helps things. But the ingenious thing is that you have these e-commerce practitioners who recognize that sometimes the customer may have challenges or reservations with using their cards online or doing online transactions. And what they do is they tell you that when they deliver the goods, you pay cash. So that payment system of either giving the customer the convenience of doing transactions, or making payments online, or also the assurance of receiving your goods, checking the quality and the suitability, and then paying, means that payment from both angles is quite well catered for.
Now, Nicolas, have you had challenges with people complaining? Have you had complaints rather from people who want to shop online with the use of their cards? Have you had issues with the issue of paying online? So there are a lot of issues that go with paying online. You have to put in your code number, whatever you do, your PIN number now, yes, of your card, and all of this information. But how would you assess what's going on in terms of paying online?
So I would say first, our job and our mission is to provide the most convenient and pleasing experience to the customer. So whatever payment method they want to use, we'll offer. So we are a bit agnostic when it comes to payment methods. That being said, obviously, we are encouraging as much as we can online payments, because it's easier, faster, seamless, and it has come to a point where it's actually for us very robust and very secure. We have had no experience so far of any kind of wrongdoing or any kind of loss of.
The issue of fraud.
No, we are being.
Card payments?
So we are being, obviously, our site is being attacked by hackers and fraudsters that are using wrong information and trying to trick our systems, but we are actually detecting all of them. Should it be through the electronic system and also through the confirmation process that we have, that is actually a voice confirmation process. So we are the level of fraud that we are experiencing at Jumia is extremely minimal. Whenever that happens, and to my knowledge, it hasn't happened for at least a year now, Jumia, when one of our customers suffers something similar, we obviously are always on our side, and manage to find ways to accommodate and to solve the issue as fast as we can.